Dear students, a very good morning to you all. Hope you are through with your assignments of your previous lesson. I understand it's not very easy to cope with the pressure of studies, especially when you are to do so through virtual classes. By the way, how's the life otherwise? Staying indoors? Nasty, isn't it? It's nothing short of a hell. Even when your entire community, your society, and your government is with you. Students, do you know there had been times when one particular community in a country called Germany was forced to stay in hideouts, indoors, without any social support, without the support of the government. In fact, the government was quite hostile for this particular community. They had to ensure their survival. It happened during World War II in Germany. Today, we are going to read about a teenager of one such family who recorded her entire experience in her diary. This diary got published after her death and was known by the name The Diary of a Young Girl. From the Diary of Annie Frank happens to be chapter 4 of your textbook First Flight. It is an excerpt from the Diary of a Young Girl written by Annie Frank. Annie Frank, a 13-year-old Jewish girl, became a victim of the Holocaust during World War II. What started as scribbling one's thought in the diary, Kitty, as there was hardly anybody else to confide in, went on to becoming world's most popular novel. Written in hiding, the Diary of Annie Frank, or the Diary of a Young Girl, not only records the socio-political turmoil of that period, but also depicts the mindscape and creativity of the teenager. Main theme of the present story is student-teacher relation, balance between discipline and correction, and sub-themes are anxiety among students before the result, creative writing, a refuge and relief, and importance of self-assertion. So let's start reading from the Diary of Annie Frank. Writing in a diary is a really strange experience for someone like me. Not only because I have never written anything before, but also because it seems to me that later on neither I nor anyone else will be interested in the musings of a 13-year-old schoolgirl. Here we see Annie Frank is not sure whether she should go for it or not, whether she should go for writing a diary or not. Actually, she was not very much interested in writing a diary for two reasons. Number one, she has never written anything before, and number two, she thinks that hardly anybody would be interested in the thoughts of a teenager like her. Oh well, it doesn't matter. I feel like writing, and I have an even greater need to get all kinds of things off my chest. But then she resolves. She will write. She feels like writing because she has a very strong reason to write. She has to confide her secrets in somebody. She wishes to share her secrets with somebody. And that's the reason why she wants to write the diary. Paper has more patience than people. I thought of this saying on one of those days when I was feeling a little depressed and was sitting at home with my chin in my hands, bored and listless, wondering whether to stay in or go out. One day, when she was sitting alone, bit bored, bit depressed, and at that point of time when she has lost her energy, her enthusiasm, a thought came to her mind. Paper has more patience than people. It seems that she is dying of sharing her thoughts, her secrets with somebody who would listen to her. But there seems to be nobody who's ready or maybe eager to listen to her thoughts. People might hear her, but they might not be interested in listening to her. And one needs to have a patient listener when one needs to get something off one's chest. So, that particular thought which comes to her mind shows her the way. I finally stayed where I was, brooding. Yes, paper does have more patience, and since I am not planning to let anyone else read this stiff-backed notebook, grandly referred to as a diary, unless I should ever find a real friend, it probably won't make a bit of difference. She continues her musings, and having concluded that paper is a patient listener, she finally decides to write. But she makes one resolve, and that is that she is not going to allow anybody else read this diary because it won't make any difference to them. So unless until she finds a true friend, she will keep that diary unto herself. She is not going to show it to anybody other than a true friend, a real friend. Now I am back to the point that prompted me to keep a diary in the first place. I don't have a friend. Let me put it more clearly. Since no one will believe that a 13-year-old girl is completely alone in the world, and I am not. I have loving parents and a 16-year-old sister, and there are about 30 people I can call friends. I have a family, loving aunts, and a good home. She continues to tell us about the reason for having a diary. Obviously, that was the one and the only reason, and that one was she didn't have any friend. And in the absence of any friend, whom to share secrets with? There are many thoughts which come to one's mind, and one needs to share them with somebody whom you can trust in. But the problem here is there is none. Though she is surrounded with many people, she has got an elder sister, she has got 30 people, almost 30 people around her, whom she can call friends, she says. She has got a family of loving aunts and a very good home, but she cannot share her secrets with them. No, on the surface I seem to have everything except my one true friend. So seemingly she has everything, a very good family, a huge group of friends and siblings. Still, the fact of the matter is she is devoid of a true friend. All I think about when I am with friends is having a good time. I can't bring myself to talk about anything but ordinary everyday things. We don't seem to be able to get any closer, and that's the problem. Now, Annie comes to talk about the real problem which she's suffering from. She's unable to share her thoughts, her secrets, which have been, troubling her. She is feeling a dire need to share all those thoughts, her feelings with somebody else. And who that fellow can be? That person can only be her true friend. But the people she used to play with are not like that. With them, she can discuss commonplace things only. She is unable to share all those things. She is not comfortable sharing her secrets, her feelings, her thoughts with them. Maybe it's my fault that we can't confide in each other. In any case, that's just how things are. Unfortunately, they are not liable to change. This is why I have started the diary. So having concluded that her friends are not going to change for her, and she is at fault for not being able to share her things with them, she decides to write a diary. At the end of the day, she needs a refuge. She needs to give a vent to her feelings, her thoughts, her positive, negative thoughts. She wants somebody to listen to her patiently. And who else could be better than a diary who would listen to her patiently, calmly? To enhance the image of this long-awaited friend in my imagination, I don't want to jot down the facts in this diary the way most people would do. But I want the diary to be my friend, and I am going to call this friend Kitty. Dear students, did you notice? This girl, Annie Frank, happens to be a very creative girl. Her creative faculties, her imagination is ripe, and she devises her own way. She's not going to follow the run-of-the-mill way, the way everybody would write. She decides to take a different path, the road not taken. She thinks that she's going to make her diary a bit interesting. And to begin with, she would give her diary a name, because it's not a simple diary, it's a friend. So she christens it Kitty. She names it Kitty. Since no one would understand a word of my stories to Kitty if I were to plunge right in, I better provide a brief sketch of my life, much as I dislike doing so. Now, before starting the diary, actually, she gives it a thought how to start with. Plunging right in, going straight to the topic, and start writing won't be a good idea, she thinks. And then finally she decides that she should be writing a brief introduction of her family, her life, so that everybody or anybody who would get to know about her through her diary doesn't find any problem. Though we can very clearly see, as she mentions, she dislikes doing so. She doesn't like giving her, talking about her family and all, and sort of the sketch which she's planning to give. But for the sake of writing diary, starting it, she should be giving her introduction, a brief sketch in the very beginning. My father, the most adorable father I have ever seen, didn't marry my mother until he was 36 and she was 25. My sister Margaret was born in Frankfurt in Germany in 1926. I was born on 12 June 1929. I lived in Frankfurt until I was 4. Clearly, Annie is a meticulous planner, a careful writer. As before starting writing her diary, she gives it a good thought how to start with. And she begins it beautifully, talking about her family. To begin with, her father. She tells us that her father married quite late, when he was 36 and her mother was 25. Her sister and Annie both were born in Frankfurt. Margaret was born in 1926 and Annie was born in 1929. She stayed in Frankfurt till she was 4 years old. My father emigrated to Holland in 1933. My mother, Edith Hollander Frank, went with him to Holland in September, while Margaret and I were sent to Aachen to stay with our grandmother. Probably because of some economic reason, her parents had to migrate to Holland in 1933. Whereas the kids, Margaret and Annie, they both were sent to stay with their grandmother. Margaret went to Holland in December and I followed in February, when I was flung down on the table as a birthday present for Margaret. She tells us that her elder sister is sent to Holland in December whereas she was sent later on in February as a birthday present for her sister. I started right away at the Montessori Nursery School. I stayed there until I was 6, at which time I started in the first form. In the sixth form, my teacher was Cuperus, the headmistress. She tells us that she stayed there until she was 6 years old, and at that time she got admission in first standard. She continued there till 6th standard. At that time she got a teacher, Mrs. Cuperus, which happened to be her headmistress too. She developed a very good bonding with her. At the end of the year, we were both in tears as we said a heartbreaking farewell. They had to say goodbye to each other at the end of the year, and that was quite painful for both of them.
Dear students, please log on to part 2 of this video for the explanation of rest of the lesson. The link for the same has been provided herewith. Hope you liked the video. Please like, share and subscribe the channel and press the bell icon for the latest videos. Thank you.